And I do believe I see skaters on the track. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to begin the action. On the jam line for our Lady Payne, highlight of your life. Skating for the Uprising, the Hellcat of Pinar. Ladies and gentlemen, the first whistle is blown. The action is underway. A scrum start with both teams crammed up against the jammer line. Therefore, the jammers are released immediately. The Hellcat immediately stuffed into the center of the pack, runs up against the 2-all at the front. Cannonball Doll attempting to defend against her. The Hellcat up against the front of the pack, has emerged first, has lead jammer status. The highlight of your life now in pursuit. De-icer knocked down in the early going, now back on her skates. Hellcat of Bernard dives into the pack, takes one. Number 2, score of 2-0 for the home team, Our Ladies of Payne. The jam begins immediately once again with both teams crammed against the jammer line. The jammers searching for a little space of daylight to emerge. Out first in lead jammer. Number 4 mangles the clown. However, Brass Brawls overtakes her, forces her to call off the jam early. Excellent strategic play there by Our Ladies of Payne. Next jam is brought to you by Barking Dog Studios. The pack is broken wide open to begin this jam, and that means the highlight of your life. Skated through relatively unopposed. Number 19, the Blues. She has lead jammer. The Hellcat of Pinar, meanwhile, held up at the front of the pack by Cannonball Doll. And penalties on the play. The highlight of your life. Steps into the pack, takes a hit. grabs what point she can, in this case 4, and calls off the jam. The jam begins again. Magnus the Clown held up at the back of the pack by Farrell Merrill. That allows Brass Brawls to come out in lead. A back block major penalty coming to de-icer. She will sit for 1 minute. And Brass Brawls skates on. She puts up 5 points. That is a grand slam. Ballard Uprising, trying to pick up the pace, keep the pack out of the reach. A brass wave, just under 26 minutes remaining in the first life, and Elcata Pinar, once again, they're ready to do damage for their respective teams. First whistle goes, some slow movement within the pack as the blockers approach the pivot line. Both teams trying to kill a bit of time and get some of their skaters back from the penalty area. The Jammers release now. Thailand, if you like, makes a play to the inside line, squeezes out. He emerges first, has lead, but Elcata Pinar. Thailand, if you like, looks behind her, she sees her. Oh, she's in hot pursuit and forces the call off. For number You wouldn't know it, but the jam has begun, folks. The first whistle is blown, things moving very slowly within the pack. Neither team willing to give up the advantage of positioning. Caramel charges to the front, breaks the pack wide open. Now the jammers are released. That seemed to work in Our Ladies of Pain advantage as Brass Brawls, 1 quarter, she's through. 1 quarter number, but she's operating at full speed. And her opponent, Babe Lestrange, not to be counted out yet, is putting on a burst of speed. However, cannot reach the pack before Brass Brawls takes the 4 and shuts the door. The score now 17-2 in favor of Our Ladies of Pain. 23 minutes remaining. Here we go. Highlight of your life and Elcata Pinar, the jammers. Highlight has gained lead jammer status. Both of these jammers being relied upon to do some heavy lifting by their respective teams. Aura G, number 469 for Our Ladies of Pain, takes a blocking out of bounds penalty. She will sit. Dial out of your life, calls off the jam. Urban apparel needs, graffiti supplies, and street art canvas. Check them out at www.spunturtle.ca. They also have a table here today. Babe Lestrange skating against Brass Brawls once again. Both teams content to use the same jammer lineups. Brass Brawls emerging the lead. Babe Lestrange, however, not far behind. Brass Brawls looks behind, sees her coming, and the call is forced. Screen printing, embroidery, and graphic design needs at 385 Dundas Street North in Cambridge. It's www.factoryarts.ca. A slow start to the next jam. Our Ladies of Pain trying to kill some time, secure the release of Aura G from the penalty area. Daylight mangles the clown on the jam line. Mangles the clown, makes the break to the inside line. She has lead. Number 4 in the purple. Play continues, penalty to Violet Uprising. One of their skaters will spend 1 minute in the penalty area. Mangles the clown, makes her way through the pack, puts up her score, calls off the jam. However, Daylight of Your Life right behind her. That is 4 points apiece on that. Brass Brawls faces a new opponent, the Archbishop Slamterbury. Push comes to shove, knocked to her knees. That immediately creates a penalty situation for Brass Brawls. This is a power jam for the Violet Uprising. And the Archbishop Slamterbury, number 138 in the Violets. Having some trouble at the front of the pack with Dawn Be Cruel. She is outside the zone of engagement. They are forced to let her go. She is leading. And she zipped around that track. She is in the pack and disappears faster than my alimony. A grand slam for the Archbishop Slamterbury. Doing some damage and trying to close the gap for the Violet Uprising. She takes the outside line, takes a shoulder from Dawn Be Cruel. Meanwhile, Farrell Merrill takes a seat on the penalty area. Our Ladies of Pain in penalty trouble now. And the Archbishop Slamterbury putting up a multi-point jam and closing the gap for Violet Uprising. Penalty trouble continues for Ladies of Pain. On the scoreboard, just under 18 minutes left in the first half of play, and we're looking at a score of 24 for our Ladies of Pain. But the Violet Uprising has closed the gap and brought their score up to 20. Hey folks, in the stands, I would highly recommend if you have not tried it before, you should come down to track level to check out the action. Everything is more fun when your backside is the trackside. Mangles the clown, takes a hit to the inside line, dragged backwards, soul crushed by Ginger Slaughters. She does not obey the referee's instructions and takes a penalty in the process. Off she goes. This is a power jam for our Ladies of Pain. Violet of Your Life up against the front wall, outside the zone of engagement. They let her go. She was 20 feet in front of the pack and they cannot touch her. She is through on a scoring pass. Violet of Your Life outskates and outlasts the blockers, puts up a grand slam. Smashley Massacre takes another penalty. That's 2 in the past couple of minutes, and she will sit for a minute. Violet of Your Life sneaks around to the outside. And in turn number 2, she sneaks past the back end of Loose Wheel. Loose Wheel will not be fooled again. Knocks her down on this pass. Violet of Your Life taking some serious punishment to earn her points. However, penalty on the play to the Violet Uprising skater that put her out. Violet Uprising. Timeout for Team Violet. Just a reminder, folks, there is merchandise for sale upstairs on the mezzanine level next to the ATM, next to the entrance to the bar. I know you know where that is. So go on upstairs, check out the merchandise table. Lots of cool threads to put on. And the action begins again. We have a lead jammer. It is in the personage of Brass Balls. And she is on a power jam as Magnus the Clown takes the seat in the penalty area. Oh, just clipping the outside line. However, not put out by any specific player. Brass Balls skates on, puts up a grand slam. Back into the pack again, being held up by Loose Wheel. The Hellcat of Pinar acting in a block and roll now. Outside the zone of the game, skates on a multi-point jam for Brass Balls. Another 5 points. She's at 10 and she is hungry for more. Runs up against the Archbishop of Slamterbury. Loose Wheel also. Tremendous blocking by the Violet Uprising. However, Brass Balls is not to be denied. The pack picks up speed, however, Brass Balls makes her way to the front of it yet again. 5 more points, another grand slam for Brass Balls. The pack forced to reform by the refereeing staff. Now formed into a coherent unit, a little too coherent for Brass Balls. She can't find any daylight and decides to call off the jam. And roller derby fans, the roller volunteerism, you can contact. A penalty called after the play. Magnus the Clown says this is a power jam to begin things with the highlight of your life. Highlight of your life, skating solo on the jam, on the power jam for Our Ladies of Pain. Runs up against a 3-wall at the front of the pack, having some trouble. Pushed to the inside. Penalties on the play, however. Babe Lestrange tries to hold her up, however. Betty Cracker heads to the penalty box. And highlight of your life, number 19 in the blue, emerges as lead jammer. My goodness, that lady is quick. She's back in the pack again, up against the front wall, squeezes through, 5 points, a grand slam. Highlight of your life, a happy member of the double-digit dynasty, puts up another grand slam and calls off the jam. Tidy work from Our Ladies of Pain. Brought to you by the Dragon, manga, and more. Derby fans don't like those things, do they? Brass Balls faces a new opponent. It's push comes to shove. Skating for the Violet Uprising. Both jammers cautiously approaching the pack. Brass Balls sneaks through the middle and has lead. Meanwhile, at the back of the pack, push comes to shove. Having some problems of her own, Don't Be Cruel and Farrell Merrill doing some work on her, pushing her to the outside of turn number 3. A grand slam! Brass Balls, who has done some serious heavy lifting for Our Ladies of Pain, even in the first half of this contest, does some great work again. Tush comes to shove, eventually escaping her tormentors, is in the free and clear. Brass Balls, having none of that, does some more damage and calls off the jam. For the public today, scroll down to 219 Silver Creek Parkway in Speedville to have a truly traditional barber experience. Remember, all the kings in town get their hair cut at the Crown. The action begins then. Oh, multiple bodies on the slab. It's looking like the morgue. The Hellcat of Penard, diminutive yet powerful, held up by Cannonball Doll. Stabby Road having their way with her. That allows Starlight, if you like, into the lead jammer position. And she is putting on a burst of speed. She wants to put up points for Our Ladies of Pain. They're currently in the lead 85-20, 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Loves roller derby. 355 milliliter cans of PBR are on discount today just for the RCRG fans. Don't forget to tip your server. That's Pabst Blue Ribbon. The pack spread out, awaiting the arrival of the jammers. The Archbishop slams are very pushed to the back. Brass brawls, no pack is declared. She's held up by Barrel Mayhem, however. In a no pack situation, they cannot impede her progress. She is out and has lead jammer. Facing heavy resistance from Blocker for the Violet Uprising. The Violet Uprising needing a very significant victory this evening to move into the finals here at Royal City. Plenty of time left on the clock, however, for them to put up some points, and trying to do that, number 100, Babe Lestrange, taking a forearm penalty. Oh, just as she was about to break from the pack, she is taken off the track. And this is a power jam for Starlight of Your Life. Last thing the Violet Uprising needed, unfortunately, the last thing you need is often the very thing that happens. Ginger Slaughters taking a seat in the penalty area for Our Ladies of Pain also. With quiet aplomb, number 19, Starlight of Your Life puts up a grand slam. You hear the sound of bodies hitting the track here at trackside. I recommend you try coming down to the suicide seats and checking it out, ladies and gentlemen. And there are bodies hitting the track right now as the Violet Uprising try to hold up the progress of Starlight of Your Life. More penalties being created as number 1910, the Hellcat of Penard, is sent to the penalty area and the jam comes to a close. An abbreviated power jam. For Ladies of Pain, Brass Brawls gains lead out of that as it comes to an end. Babe Lestrange back on the track, up against Farrell Merrill, two very tall ladies, striking shoulder to shoulder. Babe Lestrange escapes the pack. Brass Brawls form the door for her once again. Two-digit scoreboard, folks, so you'll have to imagine the one. Minutes remain on the clock. Our Ladies of Pain taking a quick knee at the front to break the pack open and create a quick start situation. Stabby Road, the jammer of note number 16, is pushed to the side. That allows her opponent, Mangles, the climb to head to the front of the pack, but she too is struck down. Mangles the Clown is lead jammer, however. Stabby Road has emerged from the pack. Heeding the advice of her bench, Mangles the Clown calls it off before Stabby Road can engage with the pack and leaves in close competition. In the first half of play, that's right, folks, there's a whole nother half. Can you have a whole half? I'm bad at math. charges right into the pack, as does Brass Brawls. Brass Brawls knocking down bodies as she very physically maneuvers her way through the pack. The Hellcat are in close pursuit. Both of these jammers do not wish to give any quarter. Hellcat Bernard puts the hip into Brass Brawls, and the two of them once again. You know you want to. Babe Lestrange skating against Stabby Road. Things getting gritty within the pack. Ginger Slaughters tries to take down Babe Lestrange, is unable to knock her off her skates. She is wheel side down and moving quickly in lead jammer position. Gender Bender taking a seat in the penalty area. Babe Lestrange rides the slipstream, knocks down Cannonball Doll. And might have put a bit too much mustard on that, because that is a forearm penalty coming to Babe Lestrange, number 100, the jammer of the Violet Uprising. Off she goes, and this is all of a sudden a power jam for Stabby Road of Our Ladies of Pain. Stabby Road has problems of her own, however, cannot escape from the pack. The solid and smart blocking of Violet Uprising creating serious problems for her in the point-scoring department. Finally emerges from the pack, but that is her initial pass. She has yet to score. Solid work there from Loose Wheel and Viral Mayhem to hold Stabby Road back. An illegal procedure penalty coming now. As the play comes to an end, she is sent back, still wearing that star helmet cover, sent to the penalty area. And we have, understandably, a tiny occupied space in the penalty area. That will not last. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Babe Lestrange flying solo on the jammer line for Violet Uprising. This is a power jam for the VU. And as you see the seconds tick away, don't forget, this jam will still skate to its natural conclusion. However, Babe Lestrange perhaps in possession of, well, one of the most visible pair of forearms in the game today. And it looks like, unless Stabby Road has something to say on it, and she does, yep, that jam is over. And that will mark an end to the first half of play.